Do you want your dog to be able to find morel mushrooms? And do you want to be able to teach your dog how to find morel mushrooms? If so, continue watching this video and see how we start the training. All right, before we get started in the training, I want to go over everything I use. I use a box. This box is about 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches deep. I make these. I'm sure you could purchase some somewhere, but I just make them out of wood and then I paint them. So I use the box. You're going to see everything I use. You're going to see how I use it in the training as we go on. I use dried morels. The links for all this stuff will be down below where you can purchase these. But morels, I rehydrate them. I put them in a tin like this. I poke holes in the top of this tin so the scent can come out, but yet the dogs can't eat the morels. So like I said, the links will be down below. Plus, I use a clicker for marking. These are the main things I use for the morel training. Keep watching and we'll show you how to do it. All right, what I want to talk about now is, so my labs, Winston and my other lab, Prairie, they've been through the training. We started this a while back and I found out that I was making some mistakes and I wanted to get everything down before I put it out there. Now we got it. Winston is laying down on morels. I'm actively searching for them. So now we got the process down of how we're going to train our dogs. We're going to put it out to you. So we're going to do 5 videos. This is going to be the first one on how we start the process. So starting the process is getting him to love the scent of the morel. Not every dog is going to be able to do this. We're looking for a dog with a lot of food drive and a lot of hunt drive. We test our dogs. We knew that both of these dogs had the drive we needed. But what we are going to show you is how we train our pit, Lily. She's never been trained on morels. We kind of started imprinting the scent, but we've never continued any further than that. I went ahead and worked both labs just to prove a concept. But now what you're going to see in a lot of the videos is me working and teaching Lily to actively search for morels. Let's get started on it. All right, talked about getting the dog to love the scent of the morels. I have a morel in this little tin. Of course, I have the holes in there for the scent to come out. Now I'm gonna put it in this box. When I drop in this box, it means the kitchen's open. Now, you'll have to go back and watch some box feeding videos to get the real understanding of this. But the idea is, what he's gonna do is I'm gonna drop this in there. He's gonna put his nose on this and I'm gonna feed. When he eats the food, he's gonna put his nose back on this and I'm gonna feed again. We're gonna kind of just show you real quick. Remember, I said your dog had to be food motivated, so here we go. Drop it in. Food's on it. Drop it in. He eats the food, and I'm just dropping small handfuls in there. You could even just dribble one kibble in at a time. Puts his nose on it, throw a piece in. Remember, every time he puts his nose on it, he's taking big whiffs of it. Now, what we're gonna look for is for him to stay on that tin longer and longer. We'll look for him to stay on there 30, 40 seconds. Eventually, we just build up to that. So this is the idea of the box feeding. His nose is on it, I'm feeding. He's eating his food, nose back on it. Nope, he found another piece of food. Nose on it, I feed. And we just continue that. We do this for a week or two, possibly. The idea is, remember, that every time he smells that mushroom, he gets fed. That's how we're going to create that love. There will be more added on to this after we get done with the box. But this is how we started. This is the very beginning stage. Nose on it. Get this nose off, back on, fed. So that's it, guys. That's how we start the box feeding. And there's more in depth to this. So you'll have to go back and watch some box feeding videos if you don't know how to teach your dog to feed out of the box. Remember, we will be doing some feeding with Lily. She has eaten out of the box, but we'll take it a little slower with her. Good. So the next step, after we do this for a few weeks, a week or two, remember, we're videoing this in November, early November, to give you time to get this done. This can be done inside. You don't have to be done outside. Wherever you do it. just make sure you spend some time on this, get him to love. When he's done eating this, I'm gonna take, actually, I'll probably just dump the rest of the food in there, let him eat it all. So then I don't have to. That's another thing I didn't mention, is a treat pouch. We will have a link down below where you can get treat pouches. If you have any questions about the box feeding, let me know, because it is a little more difficult process to get started sometimes. Thanks. All right, so now we did the box feeding. Just naturally your dog puts its nose on it, smelling that Morel. We're imprinting that smell on it. Now I want them to kind of actively search for it and actually, you know, to go to it. Now remember, he's not like going across the yard to it. He's just putting his nose in on it. So on this step, I use a mason jar. I have a Morel in there. It's just a dried Morel that I showed you earlier in a mason jar that I've rehydrated. Now, remember, once it's done this, and it'll take a little time to get this. You'll see in the videos with Prairie how it's a little slower. But what I'm looking for is when this jar is accessible to him, I want him to stick his nose in. This is where I use the clicker, and I mark it, and then I reward. Jar over here, click, reward. So I'm looking for him to, you know, to actually push into that Morel, to try to get to that scent. He knows that scent is gonna pay, so he's looking for it. We're still just the beginning stages. A lot of people are gonna say, well, your scent's there, this and that. Our next video, we will show you how we proof off that. We make sure he's just what we call obedient to the Morel scent and nothing else. Use rubber gloves to kind of keep my scent down in the end, but it's not something I worry about right now, and I'll show you in the next video how I can proof off that. But remember, if I put this jar over here, I want him to put his nose on it. Remember, I want him to love this smell. This smell means great things come. Now, you see what happened there? He laid down on that. We'll get into that more later, because that's going to be the final response, is him laying down. But that'll be in the next video. We'll show you how to do that. Don't rush this, guys. Go get your materials that you need. Build a box. You don't have to paint it. I did. You don't have to. Build it or make one. Use your imagination, whatever it takes. All the links are down below for you to find the material you need, the clickers and the Morels and the treat pouches. Don't make this too difficult. Use the box for a few weeks to really get them to hit on that Morel where they, you know, his nose on that tin. And then once you get that, then start working the jar. You will see another video that dogs just don't automatically ram their nose and lay down when they stick it in a jar like that. That'll come with time. But just take it slow, spend a few weeks getting them loving the smell, and then we'll move on to the next video. Thanks.